My mom's mad at me because I quit drugs. Just a little background so you can understand what's going on. I, 16F, have a lot of problems that I'm currently working on. My mother, 54F, knows about my problems and also knows that I've done meth since I was 9. I haven't done it since I was 13. Recently, I've stopped drugs altogether, huffing paint, alcohol, weed, all of it. And my mother's mad at me because I'm not fun anymore. Like, what does that even mean? I'm not fun anymore because I'm not actively doing things that harm me. I don't have any screenshots, unfortunately, but I feel like it's not needed for this. I just wanted to get this off my chest because I can't understand why this bitch wants me to hurt myself. It's insane. This is the same woman who doesn't believe I'm mentally ill despite my therapist and literally everyone in her life telling her I am. Sorry this post is long, I just think this whole thing is insane. Father nearly cancels Make-A-Wish trip. I've been on this sub a long time, and I figured it was about time I finally added my own story. I'll try to make this quick and avoid oversharing, but basically, when I was 17, I went into cardiac arrest driving home from school. Miraculously, my car just drifted off the road and grazed a tree, leaving my then limp, dead body mostly free from harm. I was told that had I still been conscious, or alive really, I may have ended up being injured far worse. Anyways, the person behind me stopped their car and called an ambulance, which in another incredible stroke of luck happened to be parked on the street I crashed on. There was a sheriff on scene who I got to talk to after this all went down and I was up and moving around again. He told me that because of my long hair, I'm a guy. The ambulance assumed it was a drug overdose and Narcan me twice. After that didn't work, they finally used the defibrillators and brought me back on their second try. First time they brought me back, they lost me. This part of the story is getting too long, but basically I had an SICD put in, and to this day, I haven't had any problems with my heart. Soon after my accident, my dad contacted Make-A-Wish, and they were happy to grant me a wish. As a 17-year-old who was freshly out of a car, that was my first idea for a wish, and I don't remember the exact reasoning, but they asked me to pick something else. My next idea was to travel, but seeing as how when this happened we were fresh out of the pandemic, Make-A-Wish had a huge back catalog of travel wishes, and they weren't doing international travel at the time. Eventually, I came to the idea of going to meet a girl I had been talking to on the internet, and from the point I decided to go see her, our relationship became a lot more serious. Some of the adults in my life were suspicious, and people loved to poke fun at my online, long-distance relationship, but in this day and age with Snapchat and FaceTime, it's pretty easy to confirm that someone is who they say they are. Anyways, I talked about it with my wish granteers, though I just referred to my now GF as a friend because I was a nervous teenager, and they loved the idea of me using my wish to not meet someone famous, but to meet a friend. We didn't officially start dating until we met, but I'll refer to her as my GF. Since there was such a long list of kids who wished for travel, and since I was pretty much as healthy as you can get being a Make-A-Wish kid, I ended up having to wait several months before I got to go. The lead-up was agonizing, and my GF and I were so excited to meet. This is where my dad started with his bullshittery. Make-A-Wish had offered to set up some things for us to do together while I was visiting. For context, she lives in California, which is a long way away from my home state of Maine, and has a lot more interesting stuff to do, and my dad thought this was a great idea. Me, on the other hand, all I wanted was to meet my GF and spend as much time as I could with her. I didn't need to go to Disney or Universal, and neither did she. We were just looking forward to each other. My dad and my stepmom were both going to be coming along for the trip, and they decided that it would be better if we planned as much stuff to do as possible, even if we didn't end up doing it. Mostly so that they, my parents, would have something to do while I was with my GF. The way I saw it, they were trying to squeeze every penny they could out of Make-A-Wish. This to me felt wrong. I know that lots of Make-A-Wish kids survive, but I knew that I was a mostly healthy individual who didn't necessarily need this opportunity as other kids might. So I just wanted to go see my GF and not spend any of Make-A-Wish's money that I didn't have to. My dad was furious when I told him this. I can't remember the full conversation, lots of yelling. I have memory problems from the whole dying thing, and also my mind probably blocked it out because I hate yelling. And long story short, he threatened to cancel my Make-A-Wish trip if I didn't plan the trip around making sure that my dad was entertained the whole time. He and my stepmom were staying in a nice hotel the whole trip. I was supposed to, I think, but I ended up staying at my GF's house, and I'm pretty sure they had some pocket money from Make-A-Wish to do some stuff while they were there, but that wasn't enough for him. In the end, not wanting to lose out on this opportunity, I let my dad have control of the trip, and he had me tell them a bunch of stuff I wanted to do while I was there. There was a whole itinerary of different activities for them, and even then, after Make-A-Wish said that Disney was not available as an option currently, they ended up going to Disney with the money out of their own pockets. More evidence that they didn't need Make-A-Wish's money. My stepmom ended up not feeling well while we were there and didn't want to go anywhere, so my dad, after continuously telling him that we did not want to go do any of the things he planned, shows up to my GF's house unannounced early in the morning to try to get us to go with him to SeaWorld. We did not go. We know how they treat those animals. And he told us he had a good time with the dolphins. A few months after my trip, I graduated high school, quit my job, and moved across the country to be with my GF, and I haven't talked to my dad since I left. If you think I'm overreacting, he had a long history of verbal and psychological abuse as well as neglect for all his children, not just me. I was the third and final kid of his to grow up and decide I don't need him in my life anymore. I did not do a very good job at making this quick, but thank you for reading all the way here if you did. Long distance relationship. Gotta make a wish. Wanted to meet online GF. Dad made me plan a bunch of stuff we didn't want to do so he wouldn't be bored and threatened to cancel the Make-A-Wish trip if I didn't squeeze as much money as I could out of Make-A-Wish. Edit. Spelling. Formatting. Parents don't want me hanging out with ex. Hello. First off the record, I would like to say me and my ex have been hanging out on the down low for weeks now, but I'm 19 and my ex is 18. Today, we thought it would be a good idea to introduce the idea of me and my ex hanging out as friends. My parents were basically left fuming and gave me the ultimatum of taking my car keys away and taking away their financial help for my school. This sucks so much. Even after conveying we would stay as friends, they don't believe me and also require me to have Life 360 on my phone. Basically saying if they catch me at her house or spending money on her, they take my keys away. I'm confused and angry and left not knowing what to do. I really want to see and hang out with her. I tried explaining that if something bad happens, then it's on me. But they don't care and still enforce rules. What are my next steps? Mom won't let me go to homecoming after we already bought an outfit. Homecoming is coming up, and I decided to ask my dad for an apology for when he hurt me a few years ago. He wouldn't apologize, so I cut my hair. My mom seemed that is self-harm, so now I'm not allowed to go to homecoming with my boyfriend. I'm so mad. Am I crazy? So for some context, my boyfriend and I have been together for 6 years. We have been through some crazy stuff. Pandemic, physical and mental illness in both parties, and other crazy rides. We decided not to hurry to get married because 1, we are still very young, and 2, we are still just having fun, and now that all of the crazy shit passed, we are having actual discussions about wanting to be married. It's been great. My boyfriend is very quiet and awkward. He is the youngest and always sort of beat to his own drum. But I love it about him because it brings a sense of innocence, and he has always been so gentle and very kind. Recently, July 12th to be exact, we joined the rest of my family for a week-long vacation at their beach house. My sister brought her boyfriend whom she just moved in with, along with my brother and my parents. So big group. Trip went super great until like halfway through when my parents started behaving very weird towards him. My mom barely acknowledged him unless absolutely necessary. My dad the same, and also very short and nasty, and even my grandmother who visited at one point was short with him. At the end of the trip when we went to leave, my boyfriend went to get the car and my mom says in front of my entire family, "Yes, he's gone. You can stay now." I never wanted to leave more than in that moment. My mom denied any problems until about a week after the trip when I finally asked her if she and my father still liked him. She said, "Well, there are some things we are seeing that we don't like." So I asked her to share them with me. She said, "Well, I'd like to tell you in person." I am always prying information out of this woman, so I said, "Nope. You can tell me today, over FaceTime." We get on FaceTime, and she gives me explanations that I honestly can't understand. They feel he is too quiet, and because of this, he doesn't want to be a part of the family. They are basically, in a nutshell, pissed we aren't married yet. She said a bunch of other stuff like that he spends too much money on his old cars that he works on, spent some time ripping on his family, ex. I basically told her everything she wanted to hear, and then spent the next few weeks in therapy. I told my boyfriend all the screwed up shit they said, and instead of getting super angry, he suggested we host them for dinner. We both feel they like my sister's boyfriend way better because he isn't socially awkward and is very loud and obnoxious. So we felt maybe some one-on-one time would help. We had the dinner, and it went okay, but I could tell afterwards that it really made no impact in their eyes. And my sister keeps saying, well, I'm proud that mom finally told you how she felt. And they've been talking behind your back for years, and I'm glad it finally came out. Okay, great, but you treated my boyfriend like absolutely crap for no reason, and you're punishing both of us because he's too quiet? They are so hyper-focused on his family and what they're doing. My mom said they are hurt because we spend so much time with them. Well, yeah, because they are loving and don't make me or him feel weird. My dad is so cold and lifeless around my boyfriend. It takes two to cultivate a relationship. He's basically mad because he can't connect with him even though he hasn't tried to extend a branch on his end once. This kid has done so much for my family. He built my dad an axe throwing board out of homemade supplies for Christmas last year. He talks to my sister regularly to give her life advice. He tries so hard. I even asked all of my friends, am I crazy? Is there something wrong with him? And they all love him. It's just them. I decided just to start taking space. I haven't been as available and I'm protecting my privacy and not giving them any kind of key into our life. As much as I want to confront them, I just don't have the energy to fight. I just want to be left alone. I'm happy. They also like to try and gaslight me in that area. Are you happy? We just want to make sure you're happy. They've also taken the liberty of sharing all this with everyone. I had dinner with my uncle last week, and he made a comment like, how was vacation? How did get along with your parents? Like, are you kidding? Why are they bitching to everyone? Now everyone else will hate him too. They also use things over my head like, well, we paid for all his meals down there, and he barely spoke to us. I hate when the money stuff is held over my head like that because we don't ask for it. They offer and then put up a fight when we try and help out. I just feel alone. I feel like no one understands how screwed up their behavior was. Am I nuts?